The last thing I've done to the MR2 was install the MR2 Spider wheels and the BC Racing coilovers. And I've been driving around for a little bit and it feels way better than before. Like I'm not rolling around corners and stuff, but there's still a little bit of like a vague steering feel compared to my other MR2s. So I've got some more parts here that should solve that. So let's look at this first. These are the Techno Toy Tuning tension rods, and it goes on the fronts, and it kind of goes like that, and they're adjustable for caster, and this should give me handling that I've been looking for. Like I've installed these tension rods in like basically every car I've owned, and right after that I immediately noticed that it just turns in corners and handles way better. So we're going to be doing that today. And then I also got some brakes. So these are slotted rotors. This is the rears. And they got this black coating on it to prevent rust. Of course, once the pads bite in, the black surface right here will be gone. But on the hats and on the edges, it'll stay black so it's not going to rust. And here's the fronts. And we got some Porterfield Street / autocross pads. I've always used these pads, and then same for this. Goodridge stainless steel brake lines. Yeah, this is basically the same things I've used in all my cars because they're good and relatively cheap, I guess. Okay, maybe not cheap, but. And of course I do have the polyurethane bushings for the whole car. But I'm not going to be installing this today, maybe next week or something. But this is like the last part that I want to do because it requires the most work. Here are the front brakes. And you can't see it, but the pads are actually getting low, and you can see the rotor is all glazed, and I'm assuming it's warped too because when I brake it vibrates in the steering wheel. So new rotors, new pads, new lines, and it should be good. So these rotors are kind of directional, but not really. So if you look at the slots, this is going this way, and then this one is going that way. So a lot of people have argued which way it goes, but what it really comes down to is if the vanes here are pointing a direction, but since these are straight, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to put these on with the slots pointing this way onto the left side. That's hard to do one-handed. There. So that'll go under like that. So that this one on the right side would also be pointing the same way. Okay, rotors and pads are on. Now we got to press in this caliper piston, and I've got this neat little tool to help me do that. This thing is actually really nice to have. You can use pry bars and stuff, but this just makes things so much easier. So put it in between like that, and then just squeeze the trigger, and that will press it in. There you go. In case you missed that, the top and the bottom bolts are different lengths. So a long one goes on top and a short one goes on bottom. Now, next up we're going to do some brake lines. And here's the fronts. These little things here are adjustable. So you could position it so that it goes on there. Now I just want to show you how old these brake lines are. Hopefully it focuses. So that says Toyota with a D instead of Toyota, and that's like the original Toyota name. So these are OEM, they're cracked, they're 30 years old, so it's better to replace them now. And here they are side by side, and maybe you can see the Toyota thing better. Yeah, there it is. So I guarantee that this is factory installed, 30 years old. Now we got these nice stainless steel ones that's not going to flex or it's not going to expand under heavy braking. Good consistent brake pedal feel. And also I got new banjo bolts, new copper washers, so we're not going to reuse any of that old stuff. And I wish they included it. They used to include these clips as part of the brake line package, and these just go on here and then like right up in here, but they don't install it, or they don't include that anymore, so I got to reuse those. Okay, front brakes are done. Go. And I'm using this Aute Type 200 brake fluid. It has a higher boiling point than other normal stuff. Good for track use. Yeah. I did have to buy a new hardline because the original one stripped out. So this hardline here. But I got that from O'Reilly's, so that's good to go. Here's the old one. So now let's work on the rears. Now I'm working on the rear brakes, and everything's pretty much the same as the fronts, but the rears have this screw-in caliper, and you kind of need a special tool for that. Some people use pliers, you can use the cube tool, but I have this tool. It's got all the little adapters to fit into every kind of screw-in caliper. And here's the actual tool. It's air powered. So this thing will push and turn at the same time. Like you push this button here and it turns, or it goes out. So it makes it really easy to do brakes on this thing. Okay, rear brakes are done. And here's all the old fluid I got out from just the rears. Yeah. So all that's left to do today is to install these tension rods. It's going to be replacing this part here. And these bushings are like almost gone. Yeah, this is going to be pretty easy though. Just 2 bolts here and like 1 up here. There's the tension rods on the car, and I just got back from a test drive and the brakes are working great. Looks like we got even contact all around, doing really hard braking from like 60 to 0, and that's braking it in real good. So yeah, car feels great. Obviously it still needs an alignment, so I can't give like a full review of it right now, but I did have this setup on my car before, and I loved it. I think my next major mod would be cleaning up the interior. I want to do something about this. I got less than a month away from the track day, and I still got a lot of work to do in this car. So see you guys next time.